Hi, this is Jackie,
Hi, this is Diana.
and you're listening to Homebodies Only, where we welcome all bodies to join us as we break down and dissect series that are on HBO, because we are continuing now with Abbott Elementary season
Yay!
2. We had a little break. We are talking about episodes 11, Read-A-Thon, and episode 12, Fight. We have changed the format up a bit, so just to let you know, we're going to start with episode 11. We're going to do a recap. We're going to talk about the fashion, specifically school day or school don't,
Mm-hmm.
meaning would we wear it during the school day? We're going to do a true false test. I'm going to give that
Mm-hmm.
to Diana in terms of would this really happen in our school, right?
Yeah.
Basically true or false. What we loved about the episode, what we hated about the episode. Then I will do a speech language analysis, and Diana will do a what do we call it? A psychoanalysis? Psychoanalysis sounds weird to me when I say that. What do you think?
Yeah, I just call it the Psych
Psychoanalysis.
Notes.
Psych notes. Oh, I like that. Psych notes.
And don't
And
forget, we
then,
sneak in I Can Relate, right?
oh, shoot.
Yeah, I did
I
some notes
forgot.
for
I
I Can Relate
forgot.
after True False.
Uh-oh.
Then I'll just take that segment.
I mean, I might come up with something on the fly. You never know. Why did I forget that part? And I
I
even
don't know.
copied and pasted because we started doing this with And Just Like
Yeah.
That. And I even copied
Mm-hmm.
and pasted, I thought, like the format. Okay. Okay. All right. So, episode 11, Read-A-Thon. I got the recap from Vulture. I hope they let me do it because they limit. Oh my goodness. I cannot read the name of by. It's by Ile, I-L-E, or hyphen I-F-E. Isle
Okay.
Life. Almost like Isle Life, like Island Life.
Mm-hmm.
Okanta, Okantah. Okay. All right, let's start here. At Abbott Elementary, the Read-A-Thon is an annual school-wide competition that tracks which classroom can read the most books. Although everyone is a winner and will receive a pizza party at the end, the actual winning classroom earns bragging rights and possession of the prized Read-A-Thon belt. Melissa has won the competition 2 years in a row, but Janine is determined to break her streak. She creates a reading oasis in her classroom after figuring out how to fit 2 math lessons in 1 week so her students can focus on getting through as many books as possible. Melissa revs up her class when she sees how much effort Janine is putting into the competition and calls on her 3 strongest readers to push them to the finish line. She advises that they read at any chance they can, no matter where they are, including the bathroom, which a shower, really, like in the bathtub. This leads to her top readers being sent home with pink eye. Now she's lost her star players, whose reading makes up for some of the stragglers, one of which is Maya, the sweetest little girl who struggles with reading but wants to do anything to help her room win. Inspired by Melissa's fervent encouragement, Maya begins to fabricate her reading logs, claiming to have read 25 books in one night. She says she's read 10 Berenstain Bear books, but when Melissa asks her the name of one of the characters, which she's asking, so I just want to throw in
Mm-hmm.
there, she's asking what the sister bear's name is. It's Sister. So just for those of
Yeah.
you who don't know Berenstain Bear books. And Maya says Beyonce. Melissa calls Maya's parents in to talk about their daughter's progress, but they deny that she lied about how many books she read, assuring her that Maya is a star reader. Pointing out that none of her students could read that many books in one day, Melissa goes on to tell them that Maya has been displaying signs of difficulty with reading. She suggests getting Maya tested for learning disabilities, something that they vehemently refuse, offended at the idea that there could be something, quote, wrong with their child. Melissa, however, knows that conditions like dyslexia don't mean someone is any bit less intelligent or capable of learning. They simply learn it a different way. After the competition concludes, Melissa shares a moment with Maya, proving just that. She asks Maya if reading can be challenging and admits it can even be hard for her sometimes. Gifting Maya a book that was once hers when she was a young girl, Melissa shows Maya how highlighting the first few letters of a word keeps the text from turning into alphabet soup. I'm sorry, I'm rolling my eyes for different reasons I'll talk about
Yeah.
later when we talk. I loved this episode. Oh, this person, goes into loving the episode. All right. This is one of my favorite parts. So, Jacob's Podcast Club is a great example. of the shifting media landscape as more people look to mediums outside of reading for their news and entertainment. In Jacob's mind, he is going to produce an Ira Glass-inspired podcast that will, quote, redefine journalistic storytelling. Gregory signs on to help with the club since he found out that teachers get paid more when they do an extracurricular. Yeah, he gets paid like a stipend probably. Two students, Clarence and Raheem, sign up for the club, and it's obvious that a culture clash is brewing, while Jacob takes inspiration from podcasts like This American Life, Pod Save America, Homebodies Only, just kidding,
Totally.
and The Daily. Clarence and Raheem are more interested in Joe Budden or The Breakfast Club. I have not listened to either of them. So Jacob is so far removed from their culture that he believes Joe Budden is a mispronunciation of Joe Biden. And his students think Ira Glass is an inanimate object. And he says their faces when Jacob mentioned pregnant pauses were on point. For their first episode, titled Cafeteria Blues, the two students begin doing what they see on every popular podcast in their lives. They have a curse there. She talking and gossiping in front of a microphone. Jacob is appalled and asks them to, quote, rein it in, but the students say his podcast recommendations are like, quote, listening to school. He takes it upon himself to edit the audio into his idea of a worthy episode, causing the students to accuse him of censorship, a word that's basically a slur to the proud leftist Jacob, and they quit. Whew, this is long. Ava remains the unexpected voice of reason this season, and when Jacob talks to her about the status of the club, she asks him if he was presenting them with something new and exciting or merely forcing them to do what he wanted to do. He takes his advice to heart and records a new episode with the club. This storyline, okay, this guy's talking about, or person, I'm sorry, man or woman, talking about how they teach at a college level. Oh my gosh, okay. However, when tea needs to be spilled, for the next episode of the podcast, Janine is the featured guest. This is her punishment for losing the Read-A-Thon to Melissa. Although it seemed at first that Janine won, Melissa reread the rules and realized that the winner is determined by how many books are read in one classroom. Since her class is second and third grade combined, she was able to add their scores together and beat Janine. So Janine sits down with the podcast club for an interview, and Clarence and Raheem waste no time. Apparently, Clarence's mother saw Janine and Gregory dancing at the club, so they pry for answers. They even say Clarence's mom witnessed them leaving together, a statement that prompts Janine to explain that she was outside talking to Gregory's friend, Maurice, which is news to Gregory. Gregory tries to stop the recording, but Jacob says he wants to hear more for, quote, journalistic purposes. There we go. All right. That's that. Okay. So we'll start with fashion. I actually didn't have anything for school day because I don't know. I just didn't have anything for school day because not that I thought most of the outfits, not that I didn't think they were appropriate or not. There wasn't something that I debated like, oh, I would only, or I don't know. But I had a school don't, which I would wear it at night. Melissa's like faux leather pants, which we've talked about before. And I have worn the faux leather leggings to school before. But my problem, quote unquote, with it was she wore it with an almost like a biker jacket type style, I guess if you want to call it that. Looking, so it wasn't, I thought it was leather too, or at least pleather or whatever. But then when I saw it up close, it looked like material. So I wouldn't have like put them together. I would have worn to school. I would have worn the faux leather leggings with maybe like a sweater or something, but yeah, I don't know. So what did you have?
For school day, I wrote down the layered necklaces, and I think now I can't remember who was wearing like gold layered necklaces, but they were kind of dainty. Was it Melissa? I don't remember. Or was it Ava? I can't remember, but I like those. And I also like Janine's green dress. Yes. I would wear that.
I liked Janine's green dress. And you know what? I would wear that too. I don't know why I didn't put that
I really like that. And my don't was a leather skirt. Was it Ava that had the leather skirt on? So I was like, no, you ain't wearing that to school.
Did she have the chains on the side kind of with that one?
I don't know. It was like, come on. No, that's going to be a no for me.
I almost don't count. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. I almost don't count her because she definitely wears some stuff that you wouldn't wear.
You would never wear to school.
No. Okay, here's your true false test.
Ooh.
In our school, do kids get sent home for pink eye?
I feel like the rules have changed for different happenings. True.
No.
They have to because they have to be treated for 24 hours. Are you serious? Oh, I failed
Mhm.
that.
No,
You can stay in
as
school
far
with
as
pink
I
eye?
know.
It's contagious.
But the thing is, pink eye will eventually
Mm-hmm.
go away, even if it takes like 2 weeks. But
Oh,
I'm
wow.
pretty sure because
I
we
feel like we should
suspected
have side
Donovan had
effects
pink
when
eye and he didn't get
nothing.
sent home.
I thought
No.
you had to be on the drops for a day. Okay.
Once you
Next.
get the drops, they say that. It's very weird. I'm pretty sure they
Yeah.
do not get sent home.
Wow.
Well, maybe I'm
Okay.
totally wrong, but he didn't. I mean, he wasn't diagnosed, but even like
Yeah.
suspicion, I mean, I don't even know because that's another thing. How can you say, oh, he definitely has pink eye? I mean, it can look a lot like it, or he or
Mm-hmm.
she or whatever has pink eye. You can't
Mm-hmm.
really say that. If they come to school and they had pink eye and they started drops, yeah, that's not good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Would a classroom teacher in our school bring up testing a child to parents without any classroom data presented to them?
That would be false.
Yes. I did
Although,
not like wait, what? Well,
although I feel like
I'm
there's like a
supposed
side
to.
note to that, but no,
Yeah, you're not
that
supposed
would
to.
not fly. Absolutely not.
And what I mean by data, she didn't say to them, I've assessed
Mm-hmm.
her. She's
Mm-hmm.
reading at blank level. She just said, I know she struggles. Like
Yeah.
that bugged me. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
That whole scene bugged the
It was
patooties out
really
of me.
uncomfortable.
Yeah. We both work in special ed and it just was not good. And I mean, I could totally see, I've definitely seen parents get
Mm-hmm.
uptight and,
Oh yeah.
defensive about
Oh yeah.
testing. But the
Mm-hmm.
fact when she said, like, she read 25 books in one night, like, not even an adult could do that. Like, really, you're going to
No,
get that
like that.
angry?
No,
Anyway.
it's not that
And also,
realistic. Let's be
wouldn't you
honest.
notice your child not reading
Yeah,
or
and
reading?
wouldn't you be reading with them at that
Yeah.
age?
Hmm.
But
One last one.
mm-hmm.
Oh, this was the scene with Melissa and Maya where she gives her the book. Would a teacher give out one reading tip and hand off a book to a child to help them with reading?
No.
That was
Oh,
terrible.
it's good
I'm
stuff.
sorry to be a jerk, but I mean, I know they were trying to make a sentimental moment, but she's like, I highlighted the
Mm-hmm.
first 3 letters of the word. Like, you're teaching reading. They were acting like reading in school is just, we taught you how to read already, so here you go, you're reading.
Yeah.
No,
Go read.
no. These
Yeah.
strategies are also all taught in like I think she has a second, third grade classroom. Isn't that it?
Mm-hmm.
Because Janine is, yeah. I mean, they're still teaching them strategies maybe in second grade, but definitely no. And then she gave her like a chapter book. Like, I don't even know what the book, I don't know. Anyway, or I can't remember what the book was.
Oh.
So why don't you do the I can relate? Because I'm not sure if I have anything.
You know, it's
I can't
funny.
believe I
I
did that.
actually didn't relate to anything during this
Oh,
episode other
okay.
than being on a podcast. So
Yes. Yeah, that I definitely could relate to.
I can relate to that.
And I loved that. Yeah, I don't think no, because I don't do like a competition thing with
Mm-mm.
teachers.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, no.
No, that was
Okay.
it for me.
Yeah. All
Mm-hmm.
right. Love.
You want to
Sorry,
hear mine?
I had to look. Well, you could go first if you want. You want to go first with love? Yeah.
Okay. Love the podcast club. Love
Yeah.
the reading tents. I was a big fan of
Being
like
tense.
when Janine's classroom was transformed into like this,
Oh,
like
that was
it
cute.
was so cute.
Yeah, yeah,
I love
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And I love the football theme for the race to the finish line
Mm.
for her motivation to
Oh,
get
yeah,
the kids.
yeah,
I was loving that. And
yeah.
my last one was I did love the way she was trying to connect to the student because
Oh,
I'm a
yeah,
big, you got to build the
yeah,
connection with
yeah,
your student or you got nothing.
yeah.
So,
Definitely.
what about you?
I loved Ava's line because she went to the podcast club and she's like, my favorite club just got shut down because they let a horse in. I mean, I was just like, did she just come up with these? Like,
Yeah, I don't, yeah.
Of course, I love the After School Podcast Club. I loved the term Podfather. I thought that was great.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm a pod mother. And then Ava critiquing the people from the podcast that Jacob liked, and she said those nerds speak like a bow tie. came to life.
Yeah.
So, you want to do your hate? I
I
only had
didn't
one.
really hate anything other than like just kind of like we could have done a better job on the whole like reading and
Yeah.
meeting with the parent and
Yeah.
everything. Just
Yeah.
something a little more realistic of real life. But I get it. It's a show. It's a comedy
Yeah.
show. So that's
Yeah.
all.
I think they're just also trying to show that parents can get very defensive. They definitely
Absolutely.
can.
That's real life for
Yeah.
sure.
I hated that there were still Christmas decorations up in Melissa's classroom, and she does end up taking them down. Did you notice? I think when the parents came in, maybe she was like packing it up. I was like, this is after winter break. No,
Yes.
we would not.
It's
Like,
time to go.
they're not.
No.
I mean, maybe some teachers, I don't know. They just would not be happening. Okay. Speech language analysis. Melissa, I quote, I'm going to need use reading nonstop. I cannot stand that. I don't care who you are, where you grew up. If you're a teacher speaking to children, please don't say no, use. That is worse than ain't, in my opinion. Okay. Just to analyze one of the kids, Levi, had an R distortion. When Maya says she's going to read more books than anyone, he says, yeah, white. It wasn't a total W. It was, yeah, Laura. I like really listened to him. It's like in between the W and R. So it means it's coming. But I just wanted
Yeah.
to say that. I'm not saying, oh my God, you got to jump on that. Because believe me, R's are really hard. But it is coming. It was coming along. It was like, yeah, white. There's actually I've caught that a lot. Children actors. They have an R thing. I don't know if it's because people
Do you
think it's
think it's on
cute.
purpose? Because
I
they
don't
think it's
know.
cute to sound.
I don't think the kid did it. I think the kid probably really does have an R
Okay.
distortion. Just from the way it sounded,
Hmm.
because he didn't do such a
Hmm.
clear W. But I think
Hmm.
that in general, people think it's cute. So they're like, oh, we'll
Hmm.
cast them or whatever. I think that was it. What do you got for psych notes?
My only psych notes were just like, the reading struggles, that the girl, like I was just thinking about like how I would help that family and
Mm,
that student. Like
yeah.
I was thinking all kinds of different
Yeah.
ideas of getting the team together. And, that's like a big chunk of my job too, as obviously
Yeah.
as an evaluator, but also just coming up with fun interventions um,
Hmm.
to really help her and to feel good. Obviously, she wasn't lacking confidence. There's no
No.
doubt. I mean, she's got that, but I've kind of wanted to help the parents realize
Yeah.
too, like
Yeah.
they're in complete denial.
Yeah.
Um, but that was the only thing for psych
Yeah.
notes of just, the approach that's
Hmm.
taken. I mean, I would be really uncomfortable if a teacher just sat there and was like, she just went right for it. I was like, wow,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
that's a little intense. But
Yeah.
again, it's a show. It's they only have so many minutes,
Yeah.
but they were really trying to drive home that the girl, like, was cheating on her
Right.
reading log, and
Right.
it's a product of her, struggling.
Hmm.
So anyway,
Yeah. All right.
about episode 12.
Episode 12. This recap is from, well, it's kind of a review, but I'll try to get the recap. Episode 12, Fight. This is from the reviewgeek.com.
Mm-hmm.
All right. In this episode, Gregory's dad, Lieutenant Colonel Martin Eddy, is in town for a landscaping job in the winter, but whatever.
Listen.
It's when he stops by the school that Barbara and Jacob figure out Gregory has been secretly tending the school garden. The
Mm-hmm.
revelation makes his father proud. Impressed that Gregory has continued his landscaping legacy, Martin asks him to help him out on the job he's currently working on. While doing the job, he asks Gregory to start working with him. Someday he's going to retire and he wants Gregory to eventually take over the business. When Jacob checks in with him later, Gregory informs him that he refused. Even his dad noticed how confident he is lately because he is doing a job he loves. He never even liked gardening before, he just likes doing it at Abbott. Meanwhile, Janine's students, Zara, was it Zara or Zara? Like, I don't remember if they pronounced it. Do you remember?
I thought you said Sarah.
Sarah. Yeah. Okay. Sarah and Joya have been getting into more arguments than usual. As a solution, Janine makes them spend more time together. Sorry. But it only leads to more fighting. They even draw their older sisters into the mix, and they fight in the cafeteria. Janine confesses to Barbara she doesn't know what to do about Sarah, and Joya. People not getting along makes her uncomfortable. Her mom and sister used to fight all the time and make Janine choose sides. So she's always had to be their peacemaker. Barbara advises her it's time to, quote, to become comfortable being uncomfortable. At the end of the day, Zara and Joya don't, oops, where am I here? Sorry. This thing keeps jumping around because the ads. Zara and Joya don't become best friends, although their older sisters do, but they are able to watch a movie together without getting into a fight at least. Also, the one passes the other one the tissue, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
After school, Janine calls her sister Aisha and suggests she come visit. She promises not to tell their mom she's not going to try to force them to get along. All the while, Mr. Johnson has been busy beating Melissa and Ava at fantasy football, and he had someone secretly helping him the whole time, Jacob. Okay. Then they have a review. So I will stop there. Is that everything, I hope?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Fashion. I have a school day. Actually, it would be a school day, and I would also wear it. I don't want to say school don't, but I would wear it outside of school. It was Ava's cream beige dress. I don't know if you saw that. It was so pretty. And I said I would be a little worried about getting it dirty. But a principal would have less of a chance of that. And guess what? I found it on Shop Your TV. Just to let you all know, on shopyourtv.com. Yeah, it's more like a beige. Yeah. It is Zara, by the way. Speaking of Zara, there's been a lot of Zara.
I love Zara.
Yeah. It's called Zara Satin Effect Midi Dress. But you know what? I don't think it's on there anymore because when I clicked on the link to it, it went to totally like a strapless dress.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I mean, because this was aired like last year, like a year ago. So who knows? But I bet you could find it if you really wanted to. Yeah, you could probably find
secondhand.
Yeah, eBay or whatever, or Poshmark maybe. And I didn't have a school don't. What about you?
I didn't either. I mean, I suppose as much as I loved her dress, I get weirded out by see-through things. It didn't seem that see-through though. It was clear. It was pretty.
The light color opaque. Is always a little. You always think I'm gonna get something on this. I'm gonna get it right on my butt.
Something on it, and like, is it really like that? Would be more of like going out dress, not like a school
beautiful
dress.
Oh, I love that.
But it was gorgeous.
I love that style.
Totally her. Yeah. I liked the pattern of Janine's flower top. I didn't want necessarily like the turtleneck, but I was digging the like flower pattern, the colors. It was really nice on her. I was like, that's a school day for sure. And I gotta say, love her necklace. Does it say kindness? Have we talked about this? Yeah. Or does it say Janine? Like, what does it say?
I thought she had one that said kindness on it.
Kindness.
Kind, right? Like, it's kindness.
Totally wrong. I haven't brought that up yet, but I kept looking. I'm like, I think that we talked about it. And I would totally rock that. So
we talked about it, but just because I noticed it said it, and I was like, that's so cute. Of course she has a kindness necklace.
Of course she has that, right? Yeah. So I would rock that. I would totally have that as a school day. I mean, I have a palm tree shirt, as we know now. So I love rocking this stuff.
Yes. Okay. True, false. Would a teacher sit two kids together who hate each other and distract each other in our school? Yes.
And furthermore, would they make them buddies? No.
No, like none of that would happen. No. I put also, side note, I commend them. They're for solving the problem on their own because they did. No thanks to really Janine. Although maybe because causing the fight with the sisters brought them together. I'm not sure. Do teachers have fantasy football leagues? True or false?
True.
That's true. Would a teacher just pick up a child who's about to fight?
I have notes on that for the psych corner.
Yes.
The psych notes. That false. So many falses with that. It was like a whoa for me.
Yeah. Would a teacher just stay between two people who are two kids who are fighting?
False.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Watch the news. You would never do that.
The whole fight scene. That's all I have. Yeah. That wasn't a question. It was just the whole fight scene. I couldn't take it. Again, I know it's a show. Okay.
I know.
You want to do your... Oh, Is I can relate next because
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
is.
do it for this one.
Oh, yay.
You do. I can
So
relate.
I figure you probably, when I say this, you're gonna be like, yeah, I could totally see you. So I can
Yeah,
relate when Janine says she's whatever, 80% Family Matters reruns and 20% Dunkaroos. I was like, that is me. Like, that's me.
yeah.
I am full of Family Matters reunion or reruns.
Reruns.
And oh my God, when we had the Dunkaroos made a comeback.
Yes, I
They
know.
were huge when I was in elementary school. And if you had the Dunkaroos in your lunchbox and could trade,
It's
or
like
if
the
you could
best day
trade
of your
somehow to
life.
get, oh, they were those in the Little Debbie fudge rounds. Those were big back when
Mm,
I was in school.
mhm, mm,
Those were the go-to snacks, no doubt.
okay.
And then I can relate. I can't do Toy Story 3 either.
Is that the daycare one where they end
Is
up in a
that the daycare
daycare?
one where or is that like when Andy gets rid of the toys at the, yeah, whatever it is, or when he leaves for, I don't know what it is about 3, but
I
I
think
can't do
that's the
3
one he
either.
gets rid of the toys. They end up in a daycare.
Cry. It's a
Yeah,
cry.
yeah.
Yeah, no. It's
No.
a really sad, I can't do Toy Story 3
Yeah,
either.
I
So I can
agree.
relate to that. Mhm.
Is that it? I don't know. Because again, I didn't do it
Love,
for this one
hate.
because I didn't do it for
Yeah.
the other one. Okay, you want to do your love?
I just love Gregory. There's just a
I love
special
him.
shout out to him. And I also love when what's her name comes in and she goes, "What in the earth, wind, and fire?"
Oh, I have a bunch of stuff from her for speech analysis because I love her
Oh, that's
so
it. What
much.
about you?
I loved when Ava was making fun of Gregory's dad's Hotmail account because I have one, and it's like vintage chic nowadays. Some people are
Mm-hmm.
upset they got rid of theirs. I'm just saying. Also, Gregory's dad saying that Abbott has given Gregory confidence. I love that.
Mm.
Made him more
Mm-hmm.
confident, whatever. Okay. Okay. Speech language analysis.
Oh,
Barbara.
you didn't do your hates.
Oh, I don't have any hates. Sorry.
Oh, I
Sorry, I
have a
don't have any
hate.
hates. You have hates? Okay.
Yeah,
The
just
fight scene?
yeah, the lunchroom as a whole. Like I just hated the lunchroom fight scene. Like, no, not a
Yeah.
fan. All
Okay.
right, what do we got for
I hate
speech?
it too. Sorry. Speech language analysis. Barbara. Why would you sew secretly? Why would you prune privately? Why would you cull clandestinely? Clandestinely. I can't even say that word. So, hidden hoeing and whatnot. I was
Yeah,
like, I had to
the
go
play
back.
on
I'm like,
words was great.
I like typed off the screen the captions. I had to look up the word cull because I did not know what it meant. So, for those of you who are not gardeners or farmers, it means
Isn't it set to do with
it's like
cultivating?
weeding.
No?
It's like weeding.
Yeah.
It's the individual removal of genetically
Mm.
undesirable, inferior, weak, diseased, or infested plants. It also has something to do in farming. It's something to do with like meat, but I didn't put that. I also analyzed Gregory. Okay. Oh, now I only caught this play with words because I have the closed captions on.
Mm.
So Gregory's student, Jordan, puts the wet paper towel on his face like a mask, right? With the eyes cut out when they're like
Yeah,
doing the
yeah.
planting stuff. And he goes, Jordan, peel that off your face. Jordan Peele. They, in the closed captioning, Jordan Peele,
Mhm.
from Key and Peele. In the captions, it says Jordan and then uppercase Peele. So they were like, threw that in
Ah.
there, and I would
Yeah.
never have caught it. And
Mhm.
he even kind of looks at the camera. So isn't
Mhm.
that a funny little
I didn't even
secret
catch it.
little? Well, why? I mean, unless you had the closed captions on and you're
Yeah.
reading it, why would you
Mhm.
catch it? So I was like, that's a little sneaky. Um, that's all I got for speech.
My
All right,
psych notes
dig
were,
into the psych notes.
Gregory, obviously, like the yearning for his dad's approval,
Mhm.
and that was like a big mush. Oof, to be yeah, that's a tough one. And then the whole like grabbing a child, I had so many problems with that as a school psychologist and also a trainer of therapeutic crisis intervention, which I, train sort of breaking up fights and that sort of thing. But there's a lot of controversy around it right now. Obviously, this was filmed pre-controversy in our state, um, with just, physical interventions. But you would never, there's so many problems with putting yourself in. They tell you not to, like, in a public school or any school, you'd never put yourself between two students like that, because
especially her
people have
size. Like,
gotten traumatic brain injuries,
yeah.
back, like physically hurt.
And
It's
I
terrible,
totally
but
get if people are listening and don't work in a school and say, like, but that's a
mm,
natural instinct. You would pull apart these
mhm,
children and stuff. But
right.
you, I mean, I mean, those girls were older too. Like, you really have to like step back. And there is a
I
way,
mean,
supposedly, you break up fights where you
right.
come from behind and you turn them around.
It's
And there's
very
these,
different. Yeah.
yeah, very
It's
specific placement of hands.
and I
And you have
mean,
to be trained.
honestly, in that situation too, the only thing they needed was Barbara to come in with a direct statement.
Right.
Nobody's messing around with that woman. So you
No.
need to, have
I
the right
mean,
people watching the lunchroom.
that's another thing.
I mean,
There's no one watching the lunchroom. Like, Janine
no.
just happened to be in there. And
Yeah.
again, we don't work in an inner city school. I'm pretty sure though there would be more like s- secure, like
Support.
safety stuff, support in
Yeah.
the cafeteria, especially. Um,
I mean,
so
our teachers they don't have lunch duty. I know some schools that's a
yeah,
real thing. We'd have a
yeah,
recess duty, but we don't have lunch duty. Um, but there would be more support in a cafeteria, no matter what the
yeah,
age is or where the
yeah,
school is. Like, it's just, it's a social time, but it can be chaotic.
yeah,
Things can go awry. So that was just kind of like, oh, Kyle, okay, all right, this is like,
yeah,
and then I think that was it. It was just kind of like, yeah, putting your hands on a kid like that. I would never.
yeah. I mean, even
I
the
mean, they
little
would have to be
ones,
running into traffic for me to
right?
like
Yeah,
really like the way I was like, oh my god, you're gonna break like her like our like
yeah.
so
Janine
many
picked her
things.
up, and then I think even uh, Barbara like pushed a kid or something. There was like
I
a
know.
physical thing too when she walked in.
And
Like, it
Melissa
wasn't
had a
like a
phone in
push.
her bra. I was like, that's so inappropriate for
Oh my
school.
god,
Like,
that's
oh,
true.
come on. And
Yeah,
I
it was
get like the whole vibe
the
but I
character
was like,
and
oh
yeah.
no,
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 I know.
no.
Yeah.
So that's it. I liked it. If I had to choose, I think I'd pick 11 over 12
Yes,
as my favorite.
because I didn't like the
I
fight
liked
stuff.
11. No, I
Yeah,
didn't like it. It was
I
uncomfortable
liked
for me.
11.
That's all.
Mhm.
I don't like confrontation.
No,
Just like Janine.
no, definitely
I
not.
don't sit well with conflict, right?
Yeah. And Janine did her own psychoanalysis on herself
Yeah.
with why she,
Yeah.
tries to bring people together and doesn't like when they don't get
Yeah.
along and all that.
She
So.
did a fine job.
Oh, and actually, that's what I was talking about. By the way, remember how it starts and Janine looks up and says, "Wait, why are you in two different seats?" And she's like, "Because she was
Mm.
bugging me." They
Mhm.
solved the problem without causing
Mhm.
any kind of disturbance or distraction, and she like
Mhm.
makes him go back. And I'm like,
That's a problem.
they
Yeah.
actually did what no kids would do.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
right.
that I've seen, I've never seen kids be like, "We're just going to separate ourselves," like just like I'm going to switch.
It's funny. I actually have seen a kid advocate for themselves before and tell me like that they've moved to the back, but it's also an
Oh,
option.
right. That's what
So
I
they
mean. Like,
remove their self, but they know that the classroom is set up like
yeah.
if you need space like to go to another table or something. But
Right.
yeah,
But I
in
mean, the
this
fact
way I
that
was
they were like, "Can I switch with you? I'm not getting along with
Mhm.
her. I need to move away." Like, that
She
was
should have just
amazing.
left
Like,
it.
Janine was done. Like, that's done. That you're done.
That's it.
That's all you need to worry
Mhm.
about. Anyway. All right. Well, this was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
I've
All
missed
right.
I've missed Abbott
I've missed Abbott. I'm
Elementary.
excited for the next episodes.
Yeah. I think we're like that's like halfway through the season. I think there's still
Mhm.
like 10 at least left. So
Nice.
or less than half then. And we'll see if they ever start filming again.
Yeah, right. We'll see. We'll be a little behind.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening,
Thank
watching. If you're watching, please like it, make a comment, and subscribe. We will keep making episodes. I know it's been
Mhm.
a little while, but we will.
Mhm.
Get us in the algorithm there.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.